Hello and welcome to the Late Night Lounge here on Friday night, the 5th of September. We are edging closer to the C word. I don't want to call it that, but I've been told that at work all week. I've been told that at all the shops that I've been going to. It is that time of year. The temperature is dropping. Autumn is here. The leaves are shedding. And it's international break. Can you believe it? 3 games into the Premier League season and it's international friendlies and qualifier season already. So international vibes here tonight. Not with 3 Lions, but 4. I will bring in my guests shortly. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you're tuning in for the first time to the Late Night Lounge, you will know that this, or you will not know, that these are laid-back, chill-out sessions. So bring your snacks, buckle in, and just enjoy the content. Stay with us. We are going to talk about Mik Arteta and the Leadership Playbook, an event today, of course, that I attended, and there was a pair of tickets that we gave away to one lucky Patreon member. We'll talk about Mik Arteta, the impact that he's having. We'll then talk about Bukayo Saka. It's his 24th birthday. 24, our star boy, star man, 24. Is he going to hit the heights that he was pre-injury? Want to get the thoughts of the panel and the chat on that. We will also talk about the transfer window and just get the thoughts now that it's closed and Nkapie is official and that all the clubs have done their business. We're going to get thoughts of Wayne and Yembele and Wally in the show. And we'll talk about Gabby Martinelli. That has been something that's been on my mind for a few days. We've touched upon it in a couple of the daily grinds this week, but the noise is still there. Arsenal fans aren't happy. A lot of people would move him on. So I want to get your thoughts on that as well. So snack checks at the ready. Welcome to the show. Louis, Roberdingi Rapids, bro. Oh, yes. What a film. What a film that is. I was watching some clips tonight. 4 Lions, 1 Cup. Title number 14. Says it is a Forder thumbnail indeed, Russell. I did show him that today. If those of you that are eagle-eyed will notice that our faces are in the players' heads there. Dan Fry enjoying it as well. V Vlad, welcome to the show. Welcome to all of our Patreon members and channel members. Says, good evening, guys. Sensational thumbnail from Forder. Yembele with flowing locks, indeed. And he put me as Noni Madueke with the old covering on the head, which is quite cool. Trevor Bibbins, good evening, FK in the panel. Dave's in the house as well. Hope you've had a good week. Paul James, welcome to you. Yembeze, Maduekan, Sakway. Indeed. No way FK did that thumbnail. It has to be Forder's work. Forder is sensational. Do check it out. Forder on Footy. He's got his own channel. He does some elite thumbnails for the Canon podcast, and he did that graphic for me as well, which was lovely. JK Miingo, good evening to Gooners. Karen's in the house. Hope you've had a splendid week, Karen. Good evening. Hope everyone is well. I spent a full minute looking at the thumbnail, trying to figure out who is standing next to Noni and Eze before I realized it was an edit. And there she is, still laughing her head off. Brilliant. Hello to Asheen. Henkeho is in the house. Ban all international friendlies, says AP. Let's get the thoughts of the chaps tonight on international qualifiers and friendlies. That does seem to split opinion, particularly this time of season. Big ups, says Tse 4422. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Kansas City showing love to the Latte firm family. Mate, it's so good to hear from you. And do you know what? I had some really pleasant surprises today, which I'll also talk to you about. Ian Wallace, miss you guys. Been looking forward to this all day. That's so very kind of you, Ian. I'm going to take that as complete sincerity, and it is heartwarming to read comments like that. Get the snacks flowing. Get the snack checks in. Let's bring in our rascals. First up, it is Wayne Bele. Wayne, how are you, my man?
I'm actually doing quite well, FK. Do you know why?
Tell me.
I messaged you this earlier on in the week, or at the weekend, just at the end of last weekend. And it's actually from a Latte firm viewer, listener, whatever it might be. And he's on Twitter. His name is Mo Gunner _ Now,
okay.
I don't think he gets involved in the chat much. I don't know if he tweets much, but he did DM me a little message.
Okay.
And the message said, "Hi Wayne, I found this ad on Reddit. I'm not going to promote the ad, so don't worry about it. And I had to double take. I was tempted to post and tag FK, but I don't really post much. Then I was worried there could be something related to people's privacy. But if you're like me and think that this looks like him, you could use it to banter him." Now, I sent it to you on WhatsApp, God. And I'm hoping that the people can see this.
Oh, that's so bad.
So thank you, Mo Gunner Arsenal.
I'm crying.
Thank you, Mo Gunner Arsenal, because it's been a very difficult Arsenal week. But you've made my week, because that was hilarious. So you're floating around Reddit, FK.
Well, that's great. Thank you for that. How have you been, you rascal? Henkeho laughing. AP says, "Oh my God, That is him. Dave, I assure you it's not, man. It's not. He's a handsome fellow, though. The geezer on your phone. Yeah, how's your week been, man?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really, really good. It's a shame that it started raining again because I guess summer's over now, isn't it? Summer's done.
Summer is over, and the trees are stressed. You know how much I love trees, right?
Yes,
They've been
yes.
shedding. Yeah, you know how much I love trees. They're just the most phenomenal creation. But they have been shedding leaves, man. They are stressed this time of year. They shouldn't be shedding leaves from sort of 2-3 weeks ago. It's very confusing. The weather is turbulent, a sign of global warming. Hello, F to the K, says Arsenal newbie. Welcome to the show, my man. Henker Ho says, Doc FK, we'll see you now. Don't. And Karen loves trees. Trees are just so elite. Oh, they're so elite. Do you know what? People tuning in for the first time wondering, what the hell are we watching? There's a Arsenal-related thumbnail, and there's these two grown lads just talking about trees. We need rain. We do need rain. We do. Talking of coughs, the doctor, will he see me now? Let's bring in sick note. Yeah, Moretti. Yeze, how are you?
Am I watching Spring Watch or something like that, talking about trees? When did this happen? Are you
Mate, trees are important things, man. Come on. You got to show a bit of love. Have you ever just walked down the street and just stopped in awe of a tree?
No, I'm going to stop this right here because this is a fraud, total fraud. When you moved into your house, how many trees did you chop down? Remind me.
Dead trees.
How many trees?
15, 16. And now we've got to plant new ones.
People, the fraud. I present to you the fraud.
Well, you have to chop down dead trees, mate. They fall into the road and they kill people.
Dead. 15 of them.
All 15 of them.
You're talking about trees falling in the road and killing people as if you live 15 miles near anyone.
My road backs onto my house, my garden backs onto the road.
No, your driveway backs onto another driveway, which is also yours.
This is tremendous. Liam, Dr. FK, the tree surgeon. Let's move away from trees. Yambella, you've already ruined my mood. Let's bring in a special guest tonight. Really love going to games with him. Got to put up with his terrible opinions on football. Because I do, you guys have to put up with his terrible opinions on football as well. It's Wally One. How are you, my man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How's things with you? I see Wayne has found your doppelganger.
He has. Handsome fellow. I can't lie. They all want to look like me, man. What can I do? But listen, you got a new little studio setup going on. Normally you're in your loft room and there's like, you sound like you're in a tin. But look at this. He's got his own studio, mellow lighting, dark back feature wall, which I love. How you in?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So obviously, it's been a while since I've been on here. Obviously, I usually come on in the vicinity of an Arsenal defeat on Latte FM. So it's been a while since we lost a game as well. So, but yeah, no, I've moved back home since the last time I've been on this show. So that's why things are a little bit different. But yeah, I'm well, thank you.
Good, man. Well, it's good to have you on the show. And let's go straight into snack check. Although Henko's being naughty, isn't he? Look at this. Which one of these fine men would you want as your doctor, ladies and gents? And Henko has said Wally. Or Wally.
Oh, that's
let's go with Wally.
Yeah.
Right, snack check. Wally, you've not been on the show for a while, man. What you got for us tonight? It's been a long week. Let's go to the snack check comments in the chat. Go on. What you got?
I got a Marks and Spencer's profiterole dessert. So yeah, gonna be enjoying it. It's Friday night. Why not?
I had one of those yesterday. I had one of those for afternoon. Top class.
Yeah.
How many profiteroles do you get in a packet though?
Three.
One single profiterole. That's late. Come on.
No, there's three in there.
Three.
Okay.
But the chocolate only covers one of them. It doesn't cover all of them. That's what's
no. There's a bit of chocolate at the top, and then you got two layers at the bottom.
But what I'm saying is that chocolate doesn't cover all of the profiterole.
Well, Henke has got a lovely piece of cheesecake with Oreo filling and strawberry coulis. That does sound good. Henke, I think you've won, and I've not even read out any of the other ones. That's a great snack check, my man. Manny K says, evening boss man, can I get extra salad and sauce? Let us know what you're eating, though. Russell says he's got apple crumble with posh custard. The kind with the visible vanilla Madagascar custard. That's what I'm talking about. M&S top notch as well. Russell, enjoy. Dave says he's having Sainsbury's Taste of Different spinach and feta parcels. Yeah, I like that. Warm or cold? Would you have them warm? You probably would warm them up, wouldn't you? Yeah. By the way, talking of Sainsbury's, I don't shop at Sainsbury's, can't afford Sainsbury's, just putting it out there. but they're apple and jam raspberry donuts. Apple and jam? Apple and raspberry jam donuts are absolutely fire.
Have you seen
So good.
the new Sainsbury's advert on TV?
I have not.
The main character of the advert, the actor, they've named the person Wayne, and it's been renamed Wainsbury's.
Oh my God. What is this world?
I'm so
coming
happy.
to?
I'm so happy.
What is this world coming to? AFC 777 says he's got Galaxy Ripple tonight. That's a good chocolate, to be fair. Manny K says he's having a can of Sprite. Come on, man. A can of Sprite. Well, he's gone. He's had enough. Don't know what's up with him. Paul James says tonight I've got a strawberry mousse. Strawberry mousse is an elite. I've not seen strawberry mousses.
Yeah,
What's the
in
plural of mousses? Mousses? I've not seen strawberry mousse in the shops. It's always normally chocolate. But Paul James is going strawberry.
But it's something that your child would have. It's not something that you'd have when you're growing up. Usually, I haven't had it for ages.
Interesting. Anajit says he's got Haagen-Dazs salted caramel ice cream. Solid check. That is a solid snack check. And Asheen says Remedy kombucha, raspberry flavor. Well, tonight, lads, I don't know where Wally's going. Can one of you just send him a little WhatsApp? You don't know where he is. Wally, you there? No, he's not. Evening, lads, says Jason W. Good evening to you, my friend. I hope you guys have all had a wonderful week. I'm slammed at work. I don't know about you two, but it's been a really difficult week, and I'm looking forward to this weekend, even though there's no Arsenal. There he is. He's come back. Wally, welcome back. You okay?
Thank you. Yeah.
Just disgusted by someone's snack?
Yeah.
Okay. Mohammed Zakaria knows what he's doing. Just mango, and mangoes this summer. Oh, what a solid fruit. Salt and chili chicken wings, vermicelli noodles, and fried rice. I'm a pig, says Andy. Homemade strawberry mousse. Paul James just come back to us, courtesy of his wife. Oh, well, Mrs. James. That is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Never knew Wally hated Sprite so much. I mean, I got to be honest, I was tempted. So Wally's got his profiteroles. Wayne, what did you say you had?
I've got a homemade banana bread cupcake, which I broke in half.
Banana bread? Banana and a cake? I think we've had this conversation before. Nah.
Banana bread is sensational. How dare you? Banana bread is absolutely elite.
Whoa. It's not, come on. If you're going to have cake, there are so many cakes in the world. Banana cake.
Nah, it's moist. Banana.
Yembele's a fan. Obviously, it's horrific.
I mean,
I just have taste.
He
doesn't even know the meaning of a good cake.
My 1-year-old that's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's literally for babies who don't like banana. It's the only way you can force them to eat banana.
No. Banana bread and carrot cake, elite.
Manny says, I had M&S in-store baked cookies this week, the new clear packet ones, chocolate chip, best I've ever had. $3.75 for a pack of 5. Pre-dinner, Belgian butter waffle crisps, says TSay4422. Chicken patty, says AJ84. Well, tonight, you're getting a lot of love for banana bread, especially with chocolate chips. You just forget the banana, just have muffin with chocolate chips. That's what I'm talking about. Well, I've gone for. Do you know what? I've gone for a nice brew today, which by this time it's gone a little bit cold. But I got to tell you, people, this is sensational. So I'm out of tea, right? Yesterday, I'm doing work. I'm looking for a cup of tea in the kitchen. Regular tea out. So I've had to go through my missus, sort of her little stash, and she's got Darjeeling and green tea and all the rank stuff, right? And then I see this box, and it's basically Yorkshire tea. And I thought, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. So I've just taken the bag out, whacked it in the cup. I've let it brew, and I took it to my nose, and it, honestly, lads, no word of a lie, it smells of biscuits, right? It's a biscuit brew. Like the tea smells of biscuits.
What does it taste of?
Tastes normal, but it smells like I can't explain it to you.
Which biscuit though? Are we talking digestive?
No, just a malty biscuit. You know, they're malted milks. Mate, I'm telling you, especially your Mrs. Yembele, who loves the tea and is from Yorkshire, she will love this. And it's my new favourite thing. And I've obviously got a couple of chocolate Oreos to dunk.
So you're having the biscuits. You got the
Mate, you got to have a little chocolate Oreo. You got a little dunk it in, and yeah, you know it. But these are my new favourites. So if anybody is up for this is absolutely sensational. Yeah, no, go have a look. Yeah, before we let Yembele bring misery on us all with his snack check. Amir says late takeout, pizza, tandoori chicken, red onions, pineapple, and green
No, no,
chili.
the
Well, hang on.
tandoori chicken,
Whoa, whoa,
That
whoa.
is a wild
Pineapple with
combination.
chicken.
No.
What?
Pineapple on any pizza is an abomination.
Amir.
Sorry. Tandoori chicken is fine. Red onion, fine. Green chili, absolutely fine. Pineapple, bin.
I can understand pineapple
Yes.
with savory because pineapple with cheddar cheese is unbelievable, right? Just pineapple on cheese on sticks, sensational.
It's
Birthday,
a
kids'
fruit,
birthday
man.
food. Yeah, no. But on a tandoori chicken pizza,
If you go to your auntie's house,
Yeah.
is your auntie serving you tandoori chicken and a pineapple? No. Bin.
well, he's gone. He's
He's
This is it,
enough
exactly.
to get-
Rage quit. Rage
That was
quit.
me.
No,
That
that's
was me. I
right.
took him
It's
out. I took him
absolutely
out.
right. I'm back to
Wow.
rage quit again.
See, this is the quality of content that we bring. Title number 14 says this chat is better than talking about Arsenal. Malted milk biscuits are great. A real caramelized aspect to it. It literally smells like it's unbelievable. Jason W. Says pineapple on pizza. Never. Calafiori would be ashamed. Oh no. Dominic O'Hara.
Oh,
Oh
God.
God.
Tuna and brown sauce in what? No, you're taking the mick.
You can't have tuna
You
with
can't-
brown sauce.
Tuna and brown sauce.
No,
Do you know,
that
this is
vile.
funny, actually. This is funny. I was going to tweet you guys, text you guys in the WhatsApp yesterday. Someone at my work has fish fingers with barbecue sauce.
That's too. See, that's for kids. That's
No,
for
but
kids.
But it's, my head froze. I was like, sorry.
This
you
is
do what?
underdeveloped taste
fish
buds. This is the
fingers
problem. This is
with
the problem.
barbecue sauce. I'm gonna
See,
have to
you
try
lot went. No, you're not. You went mad when I suggested ketchup. Barbecue sauce is
with
too
fish
far.
fingers.
Yeah.
Fish fingers and ketchup is unbelievable, but
No,
not in a fish
in a
finger
sam-
sandwich. No,
Yeah,
Not in the fish fingers sandwich. Not in the fish fingers
tartar
sandwich.
sauce and
No.
mayonnaise. What are you talking about?
That's not an issue, right? Generally, you'd have tartar sauce, right? Okay, that's the
Yeah.
correct sauce for fish fingers. But
Yeah.
ketchup isn't too out there. But brown sauce,
Brown
I
sauce is
know.
just brown sauce is only for your bacon or something like that. That's all you have it with. That's all
Thanks
you
for
do.
the memories, Dominic. But it's time to go.
Yes.
It's time for change. It's mate, that's thrown me completely. Hang on. Let me just read that again. Yeah, tuna, brown sauce.
Hold
in
on.
white
Whoa.
bread.
Stop. I just want to understand. Is it just the tuna and the brown sauce? There's nothing else as well. No
I'm so
sweet
confused.
corn. No pepper.
Cucumber.
Is a new what is this?
I mean, tomorrow morning must be interesting. I mean,
Tonight is going to be
wow.
interesting about an hour afterwards when you go to the toilet.
well, I thought Yembele was going to have the worst snack check, but I'll be honest with you, mate.
This is the all-time worst. I'm sorry, you can't
wow,
get any
Dominic.
lower.
He says best ever.
You do you, Dominic. You do.
Oh,
you.
Double
to
down,
be
isn't it?
fair,
He's doubled
you do
down on
you.
that.
You do you. My snacks says AP pineapple with little sea salt.
That's
and chili
fine when
powder.
it's not on a when it's not on a pizza.
I can't knock
fine.
that. Pineapple with a little bit of salt. Yeah. Karen says that sounds like a Domino's Tandoori Hot. The Domino's Tandoori Hot pizza is not bad. The chicken sweet corn is my favorite. But come on, Yembele, what you got for us? Come on, bring it.
I'm keeping the M&S theme going. I'm going with my favorite crisp, the jalapeno and cheddar one. It's a party.
It's just
meal.
uncharacteristically okay from EM, you know. It's
It's
You know
not
what
bad.
the problem?
actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what the problem is? Is my daughter also likes this and gets the good ones. I don't know. Have you guys had this one?
I mean, they're all the same
No,
flavor,
there's
aren't they?
so many
And
better
the-
crisps out there. Yeah.
There's a salt and pepper one. This is
Wayne's
the-
not having it. Wayne's not having it.
No, I'm a little
M&S.
bit confused. You see good ones, but in the packet they're all the same flavor, right?
Not the
I
flavor.
don't
it's the
understand how she
texture.
gets the texture of
What,
the
what's,
crisp.
what's
Yeah.
the good? What's the
There's
good
only-
texture?
Are you
There's one
mad?
texture
Have you
of
got no
crisp
taste
in the
buds,
bag.
you people? No, this texture is different from this texture.
All I'm going to say, yeah, is you went into M&S and you saw all their food and you walked past all their food to buy that.
No. I bought the profiterole result, the dessert that
No,
Wally's got. I
But
had
you
that.
chose those crisps over every other crisp that they do.
Oh no! I bought more
To
crisps.
show
I
off
got the
as
shit.
well. That's
And
the
no,
thing.
no.
That's the one
Announce
he's
it to the
chosen
world.
to show off. Yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, the look on Wayne's face, he's disgusted.
He
I
complained
can't-
about
Dan,
the texture
what?
of crisps.
Is this
the-
true?
the
Fish finger
texture of
sandwiches
crisps.
needs brown sauce.
No.
No.
Come on,
Really?
You're
people.
gonna start losing Patreon followers. I'm telling you, man.
Dominic says weird, but my
Continues.
kids love it also. Well, I suspect your kids have been forced fed it since they were young, man. I mean,
They don't any
Oh,
different.
wow.
Their taste buds are going to be dead by the time they get to an age where they can try the fish finger sandwich and go, oh my god, it's actually
Indeed. Right. I bet Arsenal doesn't even. I bet Arteta doesn't even like the snacks. They can only be way too risky. Well, let's get on to the Arsenal content. 20 minutes, ladies and gents, boys and girls. But welcome to the show. Let us know how your week's been. Let us know what you'd like to cover. If you've got any questions for the panelists, just start your comment with a Q. That would be appreciated, and I can star them, and we'll take them towards the end of the show. Let's talking of Arteta. No, yes, DJ D10. The lounge started at 10:30 tonight, thanks to Yembele. He was obviously rummaging around, finding a snack, and that was the best that he could find. But we went live just a few moments ago, so welcome to the show. Let's talk about Arsenal. And today, let's move the banner because that's a bit irritating. Today was the leadership playbook, courtesy of Aleda, and it's absolutely sensational. It was at the Londoner Hotel in Leicester Square earlier this afternoon, and it was a brilliant event with NBA coach and legend Steve Kerr, with Mikel Arteta, of course, and they spoke for just shy of 90 minutes on leadership and things that have motivated them and inspired them, and how they keep a dressing room or a squad of finely tuned athletes to the top of their game, and why being so competitive and being so determined is so important in the modern day. Obviously had a couple of tickets that we gave away to a Patreon member. Went along there myself today, and I've got to say it was insane. Absolutely insightful. I mean, guys, I know he split opinion across the Arsenal fan base. I know that Wayne is flirting with the idea of maybe life beyond Mikel, but for me, I couldn't think of anyone better to be leading our club. I think this guy is supremely intelligent, Mikel. I think he's determined. I think he's one of the best young coaches in the game. He's so energetic. He's so intense. I love him. And I've never been prouder to have him as manager of Arsenal. And I know it's just an FA Cup in 6 seasons. And I know we've come second 3 times in a row. But I'm so behind him. It's unreal. Wally obviously had a disappointing defeat at Anfield in the week. Last week, and there has been noise. There's been a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on the gaffer. Where are you at with Mikel at the moment?
Well, look, I mean, the fact of the matter is that he's been backed, right? He's been backed like probably no other manager that we've seen in our lifetime, certainly. So I think me and probably all of us feel that this is the season now where he needs to deliver. There are things that need to be worked on. Okay. Since that All or Nothing documentary, I know like a lot of people have probably unfairly criticized kind of his methods and his ways, and I think a lot of that goes on in a football club that people generally aren't privy to. And I know Arteta, he's someone who is really into kind of all of this leadership stuff and learning how to manage and methods in which you can motivate teams and things like that. So yeah, it's nice to see that the manager is kind of with the times. He's going with where the world is right now, right? Okay, it's not just elite level sports. This is management, whether you're talking about sports or even in any sector, right? Where you're looking after and responsible for people who are across a variety of professions. But we're at a stage now where he needs to deliver, right? He needs to deliver and I'm not just talking about kind of one of the smaller trophies. You're talking about FA Cups, Carabao Cups, but I think he really needs to deliver one of the big ones right now, because the club has fully backed him right now. He's had the players he wanted. Sure, maybe not all of them might be to his liking. Okay, but the amount of investment that we've put in, and you compare to other clubs, I think he's at that place now where he's really got to give it. And before we would turn around and say, well, actually, do you know what? He's up against the might of Man City, okay, who are chucking endless amounts of money. But we've seen that slow down a little bit recently, and they've fallen behind. I used to say this quite a lot when I was coming on here before, that the only way you win a league title is that you hope Man City drop off. And when they do, you better hope you're there. And last season, they dropped off. We weren't there. This season, I mean, we're 3 games in and they've lost, 2 games already? In general principle, you don't win a league title if you've lost more than 4 games. And they're halfway there already. So it looks like we're heading towards a place where it's us and Liverpool again. So we're again in that stage where Man City have fallen off. Are we going to be there? He needs to make sure we are.
When you say he has to deliver. This is a question from Reggie Perry, and Wayne coming on this as well. What exactly does he need to deliver, in your opinion, to, I guess, guarantee his stay? I think we all agree that the club is not going to move him on. Even if he doesn't win anything this year, we know Arsenal Football Club, unless something miraculous happens in terms of a top coach being available and Arteta doesn't want to be there or whatever, he is going to be Arsenal manager for a long time to come. But in your head, and Wayne in particular, what has he got to do in terms of deliver, like Reggie says?
For me, when I say deliver, you need to deliver the league title or you need to deliver the Champions League. If Liverpool are doing it, why can't we? Right? Okay. We are a club at this current stage in time. I'm not talking about history because I know Liverpool fans can come up and say, "Oh no, we're not at the same level. We've won this, and this." But at the current stage, right? If you ask someone who is the first and second team in England, it's Liverpool and Arsenal, right? So if they manage to win a league title with, let's face it, right? Okay, they had a very thin squad last season, but they managed to keep most of their players fit. The question now is, what are we doing about it? We faced a lot of injuries last year, right? Okay, and we're here talking, you've got this slide up about Mik Arteta and leadership. So as I said earlier, he's responsible for multidisciplinary people. Okay, he's got medical staff that kind of work with him. He's got tacticians, analysts, right? But what are we doing to address what happened last season? We can't just turn around and say, well, Josh Kroenke and Stan need to just throw a lot of money into provide us with a lot of depth, right? What is he doing about it now? And I've seen some worrying signs recently.
Really? You see worrying signs?
Absolutely. I mean, how many games are we in now? 3 games into the season.
Yeah.
Right. And to begin with, we've lost Saka already to an injury.
Mm.
We've lost Saliba to an injury. Okay, in that game. We've lost Havertz long time. We've lost Odegaard. Now I fully appreciate that Odegaard and Havertz, right,
Yep.
they were impact injuries, right? I understand that. But if you look at the situations, I was at Anfield last week, and you look at when Saliba started to struggle. Okay, every single player, even when they are 20 or 30% fit, will turn around and tell you, yeah, I'm good to play. What are we doing about it? We saw that he had an impact injury, but then we decided to bring him out, okay, to start the game. Right, that is worrying signs for me because we've had a whole lot of injury issues last season. So what are we doing to address it this season? Are we being more cautious? I understand it's Anfield, but it's only the second game of the season. It's not like the league title is at stake here, right? So we bought him out. Now, if he lasted even 10 minutes in that game, you could turn around and say, all right, well, I see what we were trying, right? He barely lasted 3 minutes and he was off. Okay, that doesn't look good. It doesn't bode well, right? After everything that happened last season. And I'm at that stage now where I'm questioning if the owners have given us a platform now to build on with a squad with a lot of depth, are we just going to rely on that and not change our methods in terms of addressing what happened last season? Or are we just going to sit here and say, well, do you know what? We were just unlucky last season and there's nothing we can do. We just carry on as we are.
When people sort of just say, Arsenal fans are going to make excuses. The reality is, over the last 3 seasons, there has been good reason as to why we've sort of missed out. And obviously the second season of the 3, we were very close, took it to the final weekend and lost to a really impressive Manchester City team. The year before that, when we went toe-to-toe and fell short, I think Saliba got injured at the back end of the season and we just didn't have enough legs in us. And it was a season where I felt we'd entered the title race maybe a year too early. Last year was the most disappointing of the lot because, as one or two of you said in the chat, Arne Slot's come in and he's almost heaped pressure on Mikel because he inherited a squad and he just took them from 7th, 9th, wherever Jurgen Klopp sort of ended with them and won the league. And at a canter because we had those injuries. And when you lose, Bukayo Saka before Christmas, Gabriel Jesus middle of Jan, and then Kai Havertz as soon as the window shuts, you've got no forwards. You're playing a defensive midfielder up top for the last 2-3 months of the season. You got your bench in the Champions League semi-final. You look over, you've got 2 goalkeepers, 3 left backs, a couple of academy players, and Raheem Sterling. You do feel sympathy for the manager. I take your point, Wally. I think he has to learn how to rotate better. I think, to be fair to him, if anything, they've addressed squad depth this summer, 8 new signings, and I know we've got those 5 injuries. I mean, imagine, we went to Anfield without Ben White, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, and Kai Havertz. You know, if Liverpool are without Van Dijk and Salah, it's a completely different game. We know that. But that's the situation that he needs to sort of come out of. You're getting a lot of love in the chat, Wally. Afsar says he is talking facts. Don't get this guy a bigger head. Title number 14 says, I like this Walid guy spitting facts. Wayne, where are you at with the gaffer?
I think with any manager at this point in time where they've been backed to this extent, the pressure's on to win. For me, it's just anything. If you look back at the end of your season and you've come away with a trophy, you've had some sort of success. Now, the big conversation obviously last year was, would you trade your season for 15th in the Europa League? Would you trade your season for outside of the top 4 in the Carabao Cup? No, I would never trade that. But good teams remain good in the league while also winning cups. Look at the recent history of Liverpool. They've won Premier Leagues, they've won Champions Leagues, but they've also finished 2nd or 3rd and won a Carabao Cup. They finished 2nd or 3rd and won an FA Cup. Last year, Manchester City had their worst season under Pep, nearly come away with it with an FA Cup. Obviously, Crystal Palace won it in the final. But you look at Manchester City's history. If ever Liverpool won the Premier League, or if Chelsea won the Premier League, they always came away with it with maybe a cup double. A Carabao Cup is sort of the minimum for me, just because I don't think we're a bad side. I think we're a very, very good team. I think, like you said, we've really addressed the depth issues. It's on Mikel Arteta to rotate now and do that across all competitions, keep everyone fresh, keep everyone engaged. And I just think that when you get to the end of the season, you might be disappointed you didn't win the Premier League. You might be disappointed you didn't win the Champions League. You might be even disappointed you didn't win the FA Cup. If you've come away with something, anything, you can look back at it as relevant, somewhat success. If we finish with a Carabao Cup and 2nd, if we finish with an FA Cup and 3rd, you're coming away with something at least. And I think that this squad has had too much resource put into it. And I think that this squad is too good to keep coming up empty-handed. Again, I'll state, I don't want us to finish 6th and win an FA Cup. But good teams can do both.
It's a difficult one. Here's a question. Yambella, let's bring you into the chat. Title number 14 says, question, are you saying that Arsenal should renew Arteta's contract if he doesn't win anything? His current contract ends in 2027. So, same question to you to kind of move away from the Mikel Arteta conversation. You know, does he need to win something for you this season to secure longevity at the club? And if so, what is the minimum that you would expect?
For me personally, I agree with both Walid and Wayne that there does need to be some element of we have to win a trophy, because the investment, the time he's spent at the club now, he's not a new manager at the club. He's had a number of years now, enough to solidify his squad. This squad is his squad. There's no arguments about it's someone else's. It's got a mix of different people. This is his signings. Whether Arsenal will take that into account when they look to renew his contract, probably not. They're very clear that Mikel is the man. They will look to renew him. I expect, even if he doesn't win a trophy, they'll try and renew him. But for me personally, if you're a top-level elite coach, which a lot of people profess Arteta to be, then he has to be looking at winning something this year, and also to make the changes necessary. Because as Wayne alluded to, if you look at the cup competitions, he really hasn't done it. He overplays players. That's a big problem. And one of the biggest concerns I have is that when I think even now, where we are probably one of the best squads in the league, and when we go to Liverpool, for example, where Liverpool are not at their strongest, we could see that. They had defensive issues. They were concerned about that. But yeah, he played. When that midfield came out, my heart sank. I don't know about you guys, but when I saw Marino in there, not that I don't like Marino, but I just thought you've gone back to your atypical style, which is to play pragmatic and play not to lose. But consequently, what's happened is that, again, yes, our record in the big games is phenomenal, but very rarely in these games have we actually looked like we're going to go and attack the team and actually win. This was a chance, to be honest, I thought. And I was just very disappointed. And again, this is something that maybe you guys can chime in on. I was just very disappointed when I saw that, because I just thought, you're not reading where you are at. We are a strong team. Liverpool have actually respected us. Yet you've now gone and given them an extra 3 yards, as my co-host on the podcast said, Joe. You've given them the extra yardage because you've just played Mourinho and just said, you can step back a bit because we're not going to create anything. We had no creators in that squad who were going to create centrally, and it's just disappointing. So that's one of the areas he's got to read, that we are a strong team, that you've got excellent players who will, change things. Look, he's a phenomenal coach. There's no doubt about it. But there's typical behaviours that Arteta's got that keep cropping up every year and every campaign, and I just wonder if he's learned from these enough, or it's just stubbornness sometimes. So for me, to answer that question, if I was the chairman, I'd say there has to be a trophy there, something to show that you've won something, that you're progressing us, because we've had second, Champions League semi-final, very good campaign last year. But we need to progress, and to Walid's point, you've been backed 250 million. There's no excuses now. You've got the squad depth. You've got what you wanted in terms of like players like Madueke, who, again, may not have been the first choice, but he decided on it. Gyökeres, again, there's a debate around that, but he still had the input there. So for me, there's no excuses. If I see...
But there can be excuses, Jim.
No, I'm sorry, there isn't.
Of course there can. Because if we suffer with injuries all throughout the season, Liverpool obviously from a championship winning position have gone out and spent 150 million pounds more than us. Like, of course there are excuses out there. Like, why could there not be?
But for me, the excuses that you can rattle off, so the injury ones, that's why we've got the greater squad depth, and that's shown obviously.
Yeah, but we could still lose. I mean, we've got 5 injuries already. Game week 3. We might lose another 3, 4.
Then we've got
the couple of weeks. Then what?
Yeah, then we could be seriously unlucky, because if we've got that.
Well, there you go. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Look, it's an extreme example, but you can't say there is no excuse now. Like,
no, I'm not saying there's no excuse.
I mean, that's
but he's come to a point, hasn't he? He's come to that point now where there's very little wiggle room for him to start say that I haven't won the league because of this, this, and this. He's been given more than, as Walid said, more than any Arsenal manager. He's been afforded the freedom as well. He can, he's not under any duress. He should be winning something at least, because it's a very dry period.
I agree with that, but also just to come back to the point, I know you're saying that there can be excuses, we could get injuries even though we've got squad depth, but this is what I was questioning earlier, is the fact that we're at a place now where we've gone on and said, right, we've given him some depth, okay? If you're going into the season again and having more injuries, at what point do you need to stop and say, hang on, we need to have a look at what it is we're doing, that we're getting more hamstring injuries or these types of injuries than other clubs are getting?
So right? is that not down to the club medical staff, the sports doctors, the data
ultimately,
analysts?
But again, ultimately, this is what I said earlier. You're at the end of the day, right? Mikel is the leader of the group, right? Okay, he can make that call, right? The analysts and stuff, they can tell you so much information, right? Okay, he's the guy accountable, and that's just how management is, right? We all know, we all work in kind of professional settings, and we've got this slide up of him talking in a leadership event. He understands that as well, and he would turn around and say, yeah, actually, I'm the guy accountable at the end of the day. So at some point you need to stop and reevaluate what it is that you're doing that's causing this. And my point being from the start of the show is that stage was actually in pre-season. Pre-season was the time where we had to stop and say, right, okay, we've got some time. There's no internationals this summer. Let's have a reevaluation of what it is that we're doing, right? What can we do better? And that's what's concerned me about this season. I didn't particularly feel that aggrieved by the lineup at Liverpool. The starting lineup, I was there. Yeah, sure, I might have gone a different way, but looking at it on the pitch, I felt things were working right tactically. But my point still comes down to the fact that we've started the season and it's concerning that we've already got so many injuries, and it's time to have a look at that.
I think for me, I understand both points, and whether it's injuries, whether it's squad, whether it's the negative football, whatever people want to call it, the negative lineups. For me, I don't. In a game against Liverpool at Anfield, was I disappointed with it? Yes. Was I disappointed that we lost against Liverpool? Yes. But I think the reality of the situation is we've seen over the last 2.5 years, 3 seasons, we have been the best team against big six sides for a consistent period of time. We've not won the league. These games, yes, I wanted to beat Liverpool at Anfield. We've not done it for 12 years, whatever it is. I absolutely thought we were capable of doing it this year. But these games against Liverpool, Man City are not where we're going to win and lose the league. It's the draws at home against, or the defeats at home against West Ham, the draw at home against Brentford, the defeats away to Everton. It's those games against Aston Villa at home where you're 2-0 up and you're dropping points. I think where Arteta needs to learn more than the negative lineups away at Anfield, or learn more in terms of the injury and the squad rotation. Yeah, he absolutely needs to. But we could do all of that. And if we can pick up 4 to 5 more wins in those games where we drop points against the Fulhams of the world, that's where you're talking about our title. This season, I would trade beating Manchester City, Liverpool for consistency in those games, because you can get away. Look at Man City and Liverpool themselves in recent history. Pep has only won at Anfield, I think, twice in 10 sort of 15 attempts or something like that. Like, Anfield is a difficult place to go. Even if we don't win there, you can still win the league. Last year, Liverpool didn't beat us, and they went on to win the league. We beat Manchester City last year 5-1, drew with them at the Etihad. We didn't go on to win the league. So for me, where Arteta needs to develop and grow is in those games at home where we seem to only have a plan A. And when plan A doesn't work, we still continue plan A. And it ends up in us sort of being frustrated and not banging down the door. So that's where this season, I hope, with all of the tools that we've had, I think we've had a really good summer. That's where I hope that Arteta develops the most.
But so would you boys say the Nottingham Forest game that's coming up is is a one where we're going to have a slight measuring stick? Because obviously Leeds were a team who'd come up, and no disrespect, but they were going to be fodder effectively for us. Because
I'll go first on that. Yeah, every game is a measuring stick. Every performance. No. Hear me out. Every game, first and foremost, is result, right? Because that is binary. You win, everyone's happy. You lose, people lose their minds. Then comes performance. And I think if you think about the Liverpool game, I got to be honest, when the lineup was announced, my heart sank a little bit, because I was like, what? Odegaard's on the bench. And obviously he's been injured, but of course he's played for Norway in this break. We just signed Eza, who'd been playing for Crystal Palace. He'd obviously had a full pre-season. Like, he could have started him. And actually, I think the regret is, like Wally says, we started so well. Like, we were in complete control of that first half. I think, if anything, Arteta's probably thinking, I could have brought Eza on at half time. That was the change that we needed to make, because it couldn't have got worse with Gabby Martinelli on the left. We're going to talk about Gabby Martinelli later. But if you watch that game back, and I've watched it back now, so I don't know, Wally, you must have had a different experience because you're obviously in the ground, and I get the nerves and the tension and the intensity of being at Anfield. We played really well that whole game, and Liverpool respected us and we respected them, and it was like a game of chess. You go, I go, you go, I go. And it took an extraordinary free kick, a moment of absolute brilliance to settle the tie, which is fine. You're going to lose games like that, I get it. But it changed the rhetoric so badly. Like, it was, at 82 minutes, it was, look at this performance from Arsenal. We've gone to Anfield. They're not even pressing us, because we move the ball, maneuver the ball so well. We're in control and we're a proper threat to them. 7-8 minutes to go until full time. Get a draw, get away, and Arsenal, the record is still intact, and Arteta's done another job on Liverpool. Blah blah blah. Then, of course, the free kick goes in, and within seconds, it's like, oh, look at Arsenal. Arteta doesn't know what he's doing. He never knows how to win at Anfield. They're not going to win the league title. Like, it's so extreme. It's like, I get it. We lost. Fine. Right. But I think we played really well. And if you think about the performance, and, Wayne, to your point, this isn't for me about the 2 games that we lose back to back at home. This is about the 14 draws that we had in the league last season. 14. We just need to convert 6 of those into wins. And this goes back to one of the points that one of the other people made about lack of options, lack of creativity, and we've done that this window. We've got Eze, we've got Madueke, we've got Gyökeres, we are stat, we've got Max Dowman coming through, Ethan Wannieri, 6 months a season older. I do feel that we are as best equipped as we can, but things can still go wrong. But I think you've got to look at the performances and think anyone reasonable will be looking at that Liverpool game thinking, do you know what? Actually, it's not the end of the world. Like, it was a really good game and we lost to an extraordinary free kick.
Okay, so obviously we've got a very tough start to the season. That's, undeniable. Man United, then obviously Liverpool, 2 big games where you don't expect us to go all out and be creative and try. We play a game of chess, as you just said. Leeds, 5-0, but for the first half an hour it was a bit of a toil, and then obviously we started to win. What would be your expectations for the Nottingham Forest game, apart from a win a lot, performance-wise? Are you looking and saying, I would expect more creativity. I want to see us create chances and to create, because that's the problem that's been leveled at us recently. That we've been told we play negative football, and it's been shown in the stats that our XG expected is one of the lowest in the league. So what would you expect in the Nottingham Forest game, which is, Nottingham Forest are a very good side, but they're not at the level of, the big 6, if we call it that.
Is the question to me?
I think.
Go on, man.
Well,
I'll just go very quickly. Just to finish my bit, and then the floor is absolutely yours. I go into every game expecting to win. Yeah. So for me, it's not about swashbuckling performances just yet. We've added 8 new players to this squad. There's going to be a little bit of time to gel, a little bit of time to just get back to sharpness and fitness, and So I'm not expecting. I mean, the Leeds 5-0 was fantastic. It was a lovely day out. I get it. We're probably not going to do that to Forest, because Forest are a better team, and it's going to be a tougher game. But I went to Anfield expecting us to win. I went to Old Trafford expecting us to win, because that is now, to use his line, the standard. So for me, every game is winnable.
So let me ask you: if you see the horseshoe come out, which it did quite a lot of the season, how would you feel about that one? Because again, we're talking about the evolution. Arteta has now got creative players, more creativity, more. If we started horseshoeing again, which is entirely possible because we've seen it, we've fallen into that trap quite a lot of times. Would you say that, look, he hasn't learned, he hasn't done this? I'm just playing the devil's advocate because, again, we don't know, as you all very eloquently said, what this Arsenal team is yet. The big games are not where you put your measuring stick. The games against the lesser sides are, no disrespect, is where you measure what kind of team you have. Ones where we drew last season or lost last season. We should be rectifying those.
I would be disappointed if we saw the horseshoe whilst all of these players are fit. I think there is a chance that you might see it once or twice, because that's just the way football is. You're going to get teams that turn up, play really well defensively, and we just don't have a good day at the office. I get it. But I don't think it's going to be as common. Sorry, chaps. Let's just go to YouTube. But before we do that, O'Malley, thank you for your very kind donation to the channel. It really goes a long way, and it's gratefully received. He says, the issue has been our ability to go up a notch. After Bayern, we need game changers. I think it's both Arteta and the players. How many games have we come back to win recently? It's a mindset issue, a quality issue, a depth issue. It's about having game changers, like you say, and options off the bench. And I think we finally addressed that. But let's get the thoughts of Wally and Wayne.
Yeah, just kind of going back there, I know you mentioned the whole kind of XG stat that comes up, right? We saw on Sky Sports, it puts us against the likes of Sunderland and so on, but that's devoid of any context whatsoever, right? Okay, we started the season at Man United away, right? Okay, first game of the season when you go away, that weekend only 2 teams won away from home, right? One of them was us going to United away. So, there's a bit of context needed. Another game was at Anfield. So, that whole XG stat is a little bit meaningless at this stage of the season. And you have to have, this is one of the things that Arteta has always spoken about ever since he started from the first days, that you have to have many different ways of playing, right? I have no issues with the horseshoe approach, right? Because let's face it, that horseshoe approach actually took us to within 2 points of winning the league, when not last season before. That's exactly how we played, right? It's just that you have to have game changers, and we've addressed that this season. We've got game changers now. My frustration this season has been actually the fixture list, right? And I've spoken about this on Yem's podcast, on Red Lines and Half Spaces, where when you start the season, what you want is a good mixture of games, right? Okay, so you take Liverpool, for example. They managed to get Bournemouth to begin with. These kind of games helps you get into your stride a little bit throughout the season. You've done some preparation for how you're going to play probably 80% of the games through the season, being a team that's at the top of the league usually, right? So you want to start putting that into practice and getting used to that, especially for us, because we've now got a number 9, right, which we haven't had in a while. And we saw in the early parts of that game against Man United, we're trying to go a bit more direct. So we want to try to execute that to better perfection. And teams like Nottingham Forest or Leeds are more perfect for that. But the first 3 games, we've had Liverpool away and Man United away. So it's been a little bit frustrating in trying to get into our stride. But as we go through the season, I want to see Mikel implement this whole thing about we want different ways of playing. We're going to bring in the either whether it's the horseshoe, whether we go direct. You look at Liverpool, when they attack, it was all chaos up front, but that looks to us like it's chaos, but actually it's organized chaos because they know what they're doing. They know how to hurt oppositions, and I want to see more of that from us.
Wayne, your boy Thomason's in the chat.
Bring me
Pick up,
Zidane.
guys. The manager is a coward. Go on, Wayne.
Bring
Finish us off
Zidane.
Finish us off as an Arteta, because we're only on slide 1 and we're 49 minutes in.
I think the reality of the situation is I'm not too concerned about the horseshoe right now. We all saw the horseshoe, I think it was against Spurs in pre-season, and then we didn't see it again since then, or even was it Villarreal? We saw the horseshoe against Villarreal. We had the slight tweak in build-up and saw Declan Rice drop a little bit deeper from Bilbao, and we've not seen the horseshoe since. So I'm not concerned about it as long as that's not a consistent pattern. I just want to see us now create chances. But the reality is we could batter Nottingham Forest when we come back from the international break. And it means nothing because next couple of weeks after that, we've got City and Newcastle. So we're not going to play that way in the games against City and Newcastle either. So I think we're just going to have to get used to adapting to our opponent each and every time.
O'Malley's come back in and says, I just need Arteta's adjustments in games to cause tangible changes during the game. And I think O'Malley, he's finally got the options to do that again this season. Let's go back to the slides. And I got to say, special shout outs to these two. Laura Kirk, met her for the first time today. Many of you will have seen her on Latte FM and, of course, all of her creative stuff on socials. Met her today at the Mikel Arteta event. And Anthony, who I've got to say, is one of the nicest chaps. He came over, gents, and he said that he absolutely loves Latte Firm. He tunes in every week. It is his favorite Arsenal-related content. He loves the snack check. He looks forward to it every Friday. Tonight he's out drinking. He's been out to see Mikel Arteta, of course, at the Londoner Hotel today, and he's out drinking, and he's going to catch us in the morning. So, Anthony, my man, a big shout out to you, and thank you so much for stopping by to say hello. And Yem, you'll never believe this, but Riz, the guy who stands next to you at the M's, is Anthony's mate, and they were there together, front row. I couldn't believe it. He looked over and he was like, oh my God. And we exchanged names today. Can you believe it? We've been standing next to this guy for so long and didn't even know his name. And also a shout out to Andy, Laura's brother, who apparently is also a Latte Firm fan. I find that all very overwhelming, but I've got to say, Andy, keep supporting your sister, keep giving her stick, and keep tuning into Latte Firm. Really, really appreciate it. And what a great event it was. Chaps, let's move away from Mikel Arteta and, of course, the leadership playbook. It is our star man's birthday, 24 years old, Bukayo Saka. Now, we've eulogized about Bukayo Saka for many a year on this channel, but the question that I've got for you guys, it's not a nice question. But is Bukayo Saka going to get back to his pre-injury best? Yimbele.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's enough scope for him to do it. I mean, look at that. Look at the way he, that second Leeds goal was pure, individualism from Bukayo. The run, absolutely hammering it. I think he's got the capacity. The biggest concern, obviously, for me is when he loses his pace. Because that happens with a lot of wingers. Sane is experiencing it now. And this, again, comes down to Arteta making sure that Bukayo is protected. Now, we've seen it. Bukayo gets absolutely hammered in the games. And the years past, he wouldn't be able to be rotated. Now, that shouldn't be the case. So, again, I think he will do, but he's got to be protected properly. I also think he's, overused England at every level. That's just because he's so good. But his pace is not the be-all and end-all. I think he's so intelligent. He's clever. I think if you can bring him in slightly as well, I think he would be more devastating. We saw that at the start of the season when he was coming from the left to the right. So again, no, I don't think he's anywhere near his best at the moment, but he will definitely get there. Just you've got to keep him fit. That's all it is.
Gaming since 2010 says Saka's talent comes more from his creativity than pace, though I'm not worried. Wally, the reason why I asked this question is because I love this guy. And I just think since the injury, absolutely, understandably, he's just not had that explosive burst in him yet. Like, I feel like he's playing at 90%, and 90% of Saka is better than most players in the Premier League. So I'm not complaining. But I just wonder what impact the injuries are going to have on him. And are we going to start seeing in and out of the team? Is this why the club went out and thought, you know what? Maybe he's not going to get 50, 60 games a season. Maybe we're going to get 30 games a season because of the way that, once you do your hamstring so badly, it impacts the rest of your body when you're going through rehab. And then it's one thing goes after another. I know Abu sort of had that, but for very different reasons, if you remember. Is that why we went out and spent £50 million on Madueke, a very worthy sort of backup? What are your thoughts, Wally?
No, I think even kind of if you ask the occasional football fan that's looking into Arsenal, they could tell you that you need a backup for this guy. Right, he's playing too many games. It's strange we're talking about. Is he going to get back to best? He scored what I think is it since he's got back. He's had about 12, 13 games, and he scored 4 goals, which is below what is usually his part. But for a lot of wingers, that's actually all right. They turn around and say, actually, no, that's not too bad. So those are the levels that we're talking about. We need to approach it very carefully this season, right? We can't do what we did last season. One of the things that pained me over preseason is how many minutes he played, right? Okay, I mean the preseason fixture list was ridiculous. I mean, I've never been for these kind of playing against Premier League teams and having these North London derbies or playing against Newcastle, because inadvertently Arteta went and played all his best players for 90 minutes, right? Okay, so maybe some learning there. The other thing that we can actually change is how we use him. I think someone said earlier in the chat, I can't remember who it was, sorry, but they said that do Liverpool overplay Salah?
Salah, yeah.
And it's very interesting because if you look at the way Liverpool use Salah, I mean that game last week, he was very ineffective, right? Very ineffective against Calafiori, who actually, if you ask most Arsenal fans, what do you worry about before the game? They'd probably say, you know what, Calafiori against Salah might be a bit thingy because he's not the best defensively, but Calafiori handled him quite easily, right? And the way Liverpool use Salah and how they get so much more out of him throughout the season is because they limit how much defensive work he does, right? For a lot of the game on Sunday, he was pretty much just standing around waiting for the opportunity to just burst through. And yeah, he's got that pace. And I know kind of maybe Saka's not as quick, even kind of comparing the ages that they're at. But we probably need to rethink and readjust how we use Bukayo throughout the season.
I can't disagree with that. I think Bukayo needs to be used intelligently, sparingly. We need to protect him. He's played a lot of football over the last sort of 3 years, particularly under Mik Arteta, and the load on him sort of post-injury, the expectations of him every time he's in the team. I think he just needs to be treading carefully, Mikel. And that's why the club have gone out and invested £50-odd million in Noni Madueke, who looks good, to be fair. And I just hope that Bukayo Saka is back and flying. Wayne, final thoughts from you on this? Lots of talk about maybe moving Saka centrally, as Yembele sort of alluded to, and a couple of people in the chat have said. I mean, do you think he's going to get back to his brilliant best? Do you think he might even come back better at some point?
Yeah, I don't even think he's reached anywhere near his best level yet. Not even in terms of post-injury. I'm just talking about in general. I think he's got lots of levels to go up just because I believe in his quality. I think he is one of the very best in the world. And I think within the next couple of years, stay injury-free, I think it will be a general opinion amongst football fans. Right now, you obviously get rival fans that want to talk him down, but I think if he continues on in his trajectory, then he's, like I said, only Salah really on that right-hand side. Salah and Yamal are the two that are better than him. That's it. That's the right wing list. and then there's Saka, and I certainly believe that he's more than capable to stay in that conversation. The conversation about him getting back to his best, ask me again after Nottingham Forest, because if he starts against Nottingham Forest, I'd be more concerned about him getting back to his best, because I feel like we've not learned our lesson. Because I know that he's injured at the minute, and I know that we kind of want him to be ready for Manchester City, but I don't feel as though Nottingham Forest should be a game we're risking him in. You've got Madueke, like you said, who started the season quite well. He had a decent game against Liverpool. Keep Madueke in as long as he comes back fit. But if we've learned and we maybe keep him on the bench, we can bring him on for 15, 20 minutes just to get some minutes in his legs, then yeah, he absolutely will. So I think a lot of him getting back to his best is on how Arteta used him, like Wally said.
Lamine Yamal, really better than Saka? Really? Wayne?
Say that again?
Lamine Yamal,
Yeah, come on.
better than Saka?
Yeah, come on.
Better than Bukayo Saka?
Come on, FK.
No,
I love
mate.
Saka, but let's be serious.
One season at Barcelona. Come on, he's played
It's
flipping
not one
La
season,
Ligas.
but it's not
La
one
Ligas.
season at
Nah,
that.
come on, give it a rest.
Let's
Chaps,
not
for
do
you
that.
as well, Yamal better than Saka?
Again, the whole Spanish La Liga thing is, you can't really compare it.
Guys, let's not be these Arsenal fans.
What
Come
are
on,
you doing?
let's not be. It's Yamal. Stop it. It's Lamine Yamal. Please.
Mate,
No, but
Barcelona fans are
it's
like,
very
it's
protected,
Bukayo
isn't it?
Saka, boys. Come on.
Guys. Listen, I love Saka. Come on.
Yeah, but no, I mean, they're very different trajectories right now. I would, if Yamal gets injured, serious injury, very interesting to see how he comes back. But Spanish league is dead, man.
Lamine Yamal is better than Saka. Let's stop this conversation, guys. Please.
I know, mate. I'm digging my heels in. He was not. I think Saka's a better player than Yamal. Do you know what? Let's do a poll. All right? Let's go to the live YouTube video and do a poll. I think it's the only way that we need to do this. I'm going to set that poll up, so keep your ears and eyes peeled. Let's move on to the summer outgoings. We had some loan moves on Monday. Look, let's not go through each individual move, but any of these sort of stand out to you, boys? Is this the best that we could have hoped for? Wally, you go first.
Yeah. I think kind of prior to the deadline day, we probably had an 8 out of 10 window, and then when Zinchenko left, I think it went to a 10 out of 10. So yeah, I was very, very pleased. I don't have to put up with hearing about how disappointed his wife is that he's not playing any longer. So yeah, really, really good, really pleased.
You were just about to say
same thing. As soon as Ornstein dropped the best bomber of the transfer window, it was like the birds were singing. Amazing. How did last minute Marinakis? I salute you. What a character.
Fair dues. Well, listen, I've got the poll out. Who is the better player? Sincerely, ladies and gents, boys and girls, Bukayo Saka or Lamine Yamal? Let's move away. I mean, Wayne, do you want to come in on this? I mean, Reece Nelson, I don't think he's ever going to come back. Zinchenko, hopefully, doesn't come back. And the two boys out in Hamburg, Fabio Vieira and Lokonga, of course, whose contract runs out next summer, gone.
Oh, well, no, Lokonga went on a permanent anyway. He was like our biggest departure this summer.
Well,
we brought in 3 million for him.
Arsenal's website is set as put it as a loan move, so let's just assume. I mean,
no, not Lokonga. It's a permanent.
It's on the website. It says loan move, and his contract expires in 12 months anyway, so it must be permanent, I would imagine. But anyway, he's gone. So yes, I imagine none of these boys are coming back, and we've freed up some wages and some spots in the squad.
No, I think the biggest thing for me really is I have to salute Reece Nelson's dedication to stay in London. That man does not want to go anywhere else. He is comfortable here. He likes London life. I salute him for that work-life balance. Congrats to him.
Manny K says, best you could have hoped for. Hope Trossard stays. Yeah, rumours that Fenerbahce are interested in Leo Trossard. I wonder if that is going to be something that we see. We've talked about Piero Hincapié. Of course, he was announced on Monday. There's the profile if you want to deep dive into him. But chaps, again, another left back, a new signing, our 8th signing of the window. Any early takes on Piero and what you kind of look, I'm not expecting you to be seasoned watchers of this guy, or maybe you have tuned into Bayer Leverkusen over the last couple of years under Xabi Alonso. But what are we thinking? You excited by this move? Yeah?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's you're taking out, with all due respect, Jakub Kiwior, who did very well for half a season, and Zinchenko, who obviously is not really within the team, and replacing it with someone who does fit the mold and offers something slightly different in that he's more of an overlapping fullback when he plays. He doesn't invert, so he's not like Calafiori or Miles Lewis-Skelly. He likes to get up and down when he plays left back, but he can play centre back, tough tackling, energetic. I think it fits Arteta's new style of thinking, where I think, back to the point about Arteta, he is trying to make sure there is a variation, that Nketiah is not going to be inverting. He'll be bombing up and down the wing. I'm looking forward to seeing him, because I just think, look, Ricardo Calafiori has done really well, but the man's got knees made of cheese. No one knows when he's going to fall over, and he'll probably, I'm amazed he made it through 90 minutes tonight with Italy. So we needed someone, Miles Lewis-Skelly. Given what's happening, I think Miles Lewis-Skelly it looks like he'll maybe move to midfield, actually, because you've got three left backs, and two of them are big, strong boys, veteran, first teamers effectively, and then you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly's played one season. So maybe it's a move into the midfield, but what a player to have! What a great rotation option to have, because for me, it's an upgrade on Kiwior. I like Kiwior, but this boy has won. He's an international just like Kiwior, but he's won the Bundesliga. He's an invincible technically. I think he's got all the attributes. Really strong, really aggressive. Really I like the look of him.
Anajit says Miles Lewis-Skelly moving into midfield, definitely. Let's wait and see. But Wally, Pierre Nketiah, 23 years of age, Ecuadorian international, has played for his country 46 times. Obviously played under Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, joined them in 2019. First season, 3 red cards, 14 yellows. Last year, 8 yellows and no red. So he has curbed his enthusiasm, let's say. Can play centre-back, left centre-back in a back 3 and left-back. And Yem's just talked about his pace and his overlaps, and that's something different. Hopefully will help someone like Eberechi Eze. Played 28 games as starts last season in Germany. Got a couple of goals, couple of assists. You can see expected assists of 3.5. Defensively very strong and very, very good in his duels. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Does this move do anything for you, Wally?
Listen, I can only say what I've seen of him so far, right? Okay. And what I've seen of him is the video where he signed, right? I've never watched him play a minute, so I can only comment on the signing video. Say. And mate, we got to talk about those earrings, right?
I knew it.
That's no, really, like,
you're not.
I mean, what is that about? You cannot be wearing earrings like that. I mean, come on, you got to say something, right? Like,
it's 2025, man.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's haram, brother. Haram. I mean, is it haram? Earrings, piercings for men? It probably is. I mean, look, yeah, he's obviously, he loves it. he's got a certain brand, a certain appearance about him. But listen, it wouldn't have been a window without Arteta getting him over the line. And Wayne, final words. Andrea Berta's pulled a rabbit out of the hat here, because we managed to overcome the obligation to buy, which means that now we can account for this move next year by putting a trigger obligation to buy.
Great work, well done. It just proves kind of what the experience of what Berta's been brought in for, and I think he's had a really, really good summer and kind of ticked off everything apart from an out-and-out natural left winger. But 9 signings would have been probably overdoing it at this point. We brought in 8, and I don't even think Arsenal fans were expecting that. So yeah, good luck to Nketiah and the rest of the new signings. I think the big thing for me is the type of player that he seems to be really indicates that we're moving away from, like you said, that inverted, that Zinchenko type left back, to the way that Miles Lewis-Skelly even played at left back for us. We're really going for a bit more of an overlapping traditional left back. And although he's not a Kieran Tierney type, Ashley Cole type, stay wide, get sort of crosses into the box type left back, he is going to offer a lot in attack, and I'm looking forward to seeing him link up hopefully with Gyökeres. If he can sort of find some cutbacks and offer Eze some space, it will hopefully only lead to a lot of chances for Gyökeres.
Atise says Nkapie is a proper baller. He's as good as Calafiori, and Miles has a fight on his hands. Anajit says the guy is a cross between Tierney and Xhaka. You decide whether that's a marriage between the good and or the ugly. Attitude boys, hopefully to run all day, says Mikey. We've talked about Mikel Arteta, obviously, and what would define sort of success, but I didn't sort of put you guys on the spot in terms of your favourites for the title. You know, I sort of brought into the conversation that Liverpool as champions have gone out and spent a ridiculous amount of money, and Alex Isak is a needle mover. Just in a one sentence sort of answer, who are your favourites for the title? And it may not be either of these two teams on screen. Wayne, you're sort of directly under me. Where's the title going this season?
Where's the title going? Arsenal. It's coming home. It's finally coming back to us. I wouldn't say we're favourites on paper. I think Liverpool are the favourites. Whenever the champions spend the amount that they've spent and bring in arguably the second or third best striker in the world, depending on what you consider Mbappe, I think, that's obviously going to strike fear into any fan base. But I think we're more than good enough. I think we've got enough tools to compete at the very high end. And like I said a bit earlier, the games against Liverpool, the setups against Manchester City, those top 6 games, those aren't what's going to win us the league. It's going to be where we dropped points in draws against Everton, in draws against Fulham, in defeats against West Ham, like nonsensical ones. That's where we turn around and win the league. And I think that this year, with the players and the slight tweak in how we've been playing with that overlapping left back with Gyökeres up front, I think we've got more than enough to do it this year.
Perfectly articulated in just the one sentence. D-Day Spring says we are winning everything with this team. Wally, is it a 3-horse race for you? And if so, where's the league going?
No, not a 3-horse race. I will also, like Wayne, not to say this in one sentence, but yeah, for me, I think Liverpool are favourites, right? But when you look at the transfer market, it's actually quite strange because there's very different perspectives on these. Both us and Liverpool have done very well in this transfer market. We've both addressed areas that were of concern last season, but we have very different needs. We had issues in depth, so we needed players that we can fall back on when the going got tough. Whereas with Liverpool, they identified that actually their main source of goals was coming really from one place, right? And they were fortunate that by the time Salah went a little bit off form, the league was pretty much won. So what they did was they've gone out and addressed that. They brought in Isak, they brought in Ekatike, Verts, they've addressed that issue where they're going to get goals from elsewhere. So both us and Liverpool have addressed our problems, right? The question really is that who can bed in players faster. But for me, the big question is, can we keep our players fit? Because I think if we can keep our players fit throughout the course of the season, and I'm not saying everyone's going to be fit throughout the whole campaign, but if we can avoid these long-term injuries, what we saw last season, I think we can win the league. Liverpool's still the favourites for me.
Interesting. And before I come to you, V, Vlad says Liverpool are favourites, have signed 2 needle movers, but we're right there. We just need to get some luck with injuries and refs. And title number 14 says, like the video, people. Hundreds of you have watched live on YouTube tonight. Really appreciate your company on a Friday night, a cold Friday night here in London. If you are watching and you're enjoying the content for the first time, please do, of course, subscribe to the channel. I think we may be just at 26,000 subscribers, which would be amazing for the channel. The poll has shut on Yamal and Saka. Yamal has edged it. 54% of voters saying that Yamal is better than Saka, and of course 46% the other way around. So not as clear cut as well. Either side tried to represent earlier, but a very close call. Yembele, league title, where's it going for you? As lots of people are beginning to feel confident in the chat. It's coming home. We will be there.
Yeah, I think we've got every reason to be confident if we can keep injury free. That's always been our biggest problem since last year. If we kept our squad injury free, I think we would have been running close or even winning. Again, same thing for Liverpool, because although they bought up front very well, they failed to get Mark Gahey, and I think that was a big one because one injury to Van Dijk or Konate, you're back to Joe Gomez again, injury prone. It's all about fitness. Who can keep players fit, and we're about to hit the real critical mass of the season because we're going to start getting into those Wednesdays, Saturdays, the Champions League, the League Cup, all of these fixtures are now coming. So that we're starting a little bit on the back foot because our injuries have already started to mount is not the ideal situation. But again, we are at the start of the season. So I would say Liverpool, on the face of it, if they kept their squad fit, would be the favourites. They've bought Isak, who is an absolute monster. Best striker in the league for the last season. There was no doubt of that. And in a Liverpool team, which he will thrive in, amazing. Ekatike, very good signing. And Florian Wirtz will come good. You can't be that good a player. I think he will.
He's on fraud watch, says Jizzle McDizzle.
I think he will do. I think it's good players always find a way, but he's trying to get used to the pace of the Premier League. But again,
the numbers don't help him, if I'm honest. No, but I mean, okay, how many players, from foreign leagues have come into the Premier League that have cost over 75 million and have done well?
Preach, Wally, preach. Tell me this Florian Squirts is going to fail in the Premier League.
No, but can you actually name? Honestly, can we name?
I cannot.
Probably Haaland. I mean, if you count the fact that they paid probably quite a lot on his for his agents and so on. But really, once you're past that 75 million pound mark, there's a couple of things. Firstly, the players that come in from foreign leagues have not got a good record. Right, that have cost that much. You look at the likes of Anthony or pretty much a lot of players that Man United have signed. And then the other thing is that when you spend that much money on a player, you cannot have this, he needs time to adjust. No, you pay that much money for here and now players, right? Okay, and I'm a big fan of him. I think he's a very good player, right? What I've seen of him so far hasn't been good, right? Okay, so, I could have been wrong all along on him, but yeah, so far the numbers aren't doing him any favors at the moment.
No, they're not.
It is early days, of course, but Jonathan Case's words must realise this isn't Bremen, Hanover 96, or Mainz anymore.
I think the reality is, though, Wirtz could take as long as he wants. Isak has been signed, and as much as I love him, as much as we all kind of wanted him at Arsenal, he's relatively injury prone and he's a big risk. He's probably got a 4 to 6 week injury in him across the season. But more importantly, this year, Salah's away in January with AFCON. And if we can get to January, maybe in the lead, and hopefully Egypt go all the way. I've never supported Egypt in my life. I will be screaming for them to win the whole tournament in January. Keep him away. Keep him away from the Premier League for 4 or 6, however long. If he wants to celebrate for the rest of the season, let him if they win it. So, yeah, that's the big one for me. That if we can get to January in the lead and they've got rid of Harvey Elliott, they've got rid of Diaz, they got rid of Nunes, who do they really have now on that right-hand side if and when Salah's away?
Even a right-back as well, they've got that, they're playing Szoboszlai, who, again, we'll talk about Martinelli, but...
Top player. Top player.
No, he's a top player, but he's not a right-back, is he? So,
no.
You've got Conor Bradley at right-back, technically, and then you've got Frimpong, who's not a right-back, really, is he?
Welcome, Shoulder to the show. Wayne, just on Isak, here's a question. Would any of you have swapped Isak for, let's say, Ezra and Gyökeres?
No.
Really?
No. We would have left ourselves short in one or another place. Like, there was no world where we were signing Isak and getting everything else that we needed. Like, I love Isak. He was my number one striker to come in at any time, but we just had too much to do this summer, unfortunately.
Wow, I'm surprised. Wally, would you forego Ezra and Gyökeres for Isak?
This season, yeah, because if it was last season where we had still the squad, Partey, etc., you would have said buy him then. But as Wayne said, we had too many gaps. We wouldn't have been able to afford him. It's not just the fee; it's his salary as well. It's what, 300k. It's a lot of money.
Do you know, Jamie Carragher did say on, I think it was Monday Night Football, that in the 3 seasons he's been at Newcastle, he's missed 36 Premier League games, almost a season. That's insane. That's insane. Anyway, let's move that. Right, let's move on to the final segment. And let's talk about Gabriel Martinelli, who has been splitting opinion. I think the camp of pro Martinelli is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, chaps, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Now, Yem, you and I are aligned. I think there's a player in there. I think there is some hope, some optimism, maybe some dumbfounded romance that's going to kind of get us to back this guy. 24 years of age, just turned 24 this summer, has been at Arsenal for a long time, loves the club, and has had his highs and is obviously now experiencing some lows in terms of output. Let's rip the plaster off and go with what Chrome's saying. I'm done with Martinelli. So Wayne, Wally, as two people who are prepared to turn your backs on Gabby Martinelli, I know the transfer window is shut and obviously he's going to stay, but just articulate to us why it is time, Wayne. Why do you want to see Martinelli leave the club, not be part of the team?
I wouldn't put it as harshly as that, but I think we need to move on from him. And I think more importantly for him, it's probably
the same thing, bro. We need to move on. You want to sell him. You want to release him. Better start learning Arabic, buddy.
Should have started 12 months ago, to be fair. But no, I think the time has come where really we need a fresh start on that left-hand side, and he needs a fresh start for his career because he's just really stagnated the past 18 to 24 months. And look, I absolutely want nothing more than for him to go back to that 15 goals in the Premier League best that we saw him. But as Wally says a lot of times, and I'll allow him to kind of go into it in more detail, he scored those 15 goals and was a big threat when teams didn't respect us and they left space. And ever since teams started respecting us and defending properly, he has really, really struggled. And unless he's probably going to play as a centre forward now in this system, which I don't think he'll ever do long term, I think we're kind of beyond the point now of finding out how to get the best of him. Like we've tried getting the left midfielder, we've tried getting the left back, we've tried having him as the left winger, we've tried allowing him. The only time he seemed to really work is when Jesus was the striker, and Jesus is not going to be the striker anymore really, because one, his knees can't do it, and two, we've signed Gyökeres. But I don't see him excelling in the way that we play football. If we changed the way that we played slightly and maybe suited it to his skill set and tried to get him a bit closer to goal, it might work. But we're not going to do that. Arteta doesn't want his left winger to do that, and Martinelli just can't do the things that we want and need our left winger to do. So I think it's just time now for us to have a fresh start, and more importantly, I think it's time he needs to have a fresh start for his career as well.
Well, as you were talking, Wayne, I've brought up his goals and assists, courtesy of the brilliant Cannon stats that you guys might be familiar with on socials. You can see there the percentile. So compared to any other winger, the further you are to the right, the better you are in terms of output and rank of wingers in the Premier League from last season. So non-penalty goals, non-penalty expected goals, XG per shot, really quite high. Wally, if I said to you, Bukayo Saka has scored 43 goals, non-penalty goals in his Premier League career, have a guess at how many Gabby Martinelli has scored.
How many Saka scored did you say?
43 non-penalty goals in his career.
I would say probably in the 30s.
Have a guess. Take a guess. All of you.
32.
Just shout out a number. 32 for Wally. So 43 for Saka. 32 says Wally. Higher or lower?
I'd say he's at about, I think higher than that. I think he's at about 40 maybe.
I think he's. I remember seeing something that he's higher in the 50s or something like that.
He's not quite in the 50s. So he's actually scored 39 non-penalty goals in his career. Over the last 3 seasons, he has more goals from non-penalties than Bukayo Saka in the Premier League, which is quite amazing. I mean, he did have that standout season with 15 league goals, of course. But I guess what I'm trying to say is his output, we know that's in him. We know the system has been there in him. And just to make you guys vomit a little bit, bring back Xhaka to unlock Martinelli, says Jonathan K. Yeah, Wayne's head's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Do you know, I don't want to hear it. This guy. Let's bring him back in. Go on, Wayne. What do you say?
I said Martinelli's welcome to join him in Sunderland.
No. Is it the end of Martinelli plays like he's been space jammed? I mean, Wally, look, when you see the output on screen in terms of goals, to Wayne's point, lots of people have been talking. It could Martinelli do a job for us centrally. Now that Kai Havertz is out.
But if we're talking about output, right? Why do we talk about Trossard and his output? His output far outweigh Martinelli's. Right? What is he scored? 20 open play goals in the last 2-3 years, right? Far outweigh. He gives a lot more. If it's not about the output. Your eyes don't deceive you, right? Okay, but stats can, right? Because that's not the full context of what's going on. My head is still hot from Anfield and seeing what I saw, and a little bit sad as well, because at halftime I was thinking, what is it that Martinelli does that Arteta just keeps using him again and again and in such a big game, right? He tracks back. Okay, it's such a bare minimum. It is such a bare minimum of requirements for a winger to track back, right, and help out the defense. Apart from that, he didn't do anything. And when Eze came on, right, I was a little bit annoyed that he came on a little bit late. I felt that he should have probably come on at halftime at least, okay, or even in the 55th minute. When Eze came on, the first action he did made me a little bit sad as well as excited, because I was excited that, oh wow, we got such a great player here. But it made me sad at what Martinelli did or didn't do for the other 60, 70 minutes of that game. And it's really frustrating because I was mentioning earlier, the way Liverpool set up, they keep Salah quite high up, right? They have him do very limited defensive work. Then they had Szoboszlai at left back, a makeshift left back, and he didn't trouble him at all, to the point where actually in the second half, Liverpool thought, we've not really got much threat down that side. So Szoboszlai started to come in more. He started to leave a bit more gap because he was quite comfortable in leaving Konate to deal with Martinelli. Konate's generally always had good games against Martinelli, but he's not started the season that well, right? And even then, he had a pretty easy time handling him by himself. And it's very sad that it's come to this. You go back to last season, he struggled against a 39-year-old Ashley Young. Okay, and this doesn't look good. Okay, the performance are not good. His head is always down. We keep hearing this. His head is always down. He's not looking where he's going. I feel like Martinelli's a little bit going in the way that Jack Grealish probably went, where he was great at Aston Villa. Okay, because teams that would come up against Aston Villa probably fancied their chances. As Wayne was saying earlier, teams didn't respect us that season. He scored that many goals, right? And you look at Jack Grealish, he did really well at Villa. Then he went to Man City, and he scored like a goal in a year. Right? It hasn't been the best of times for him. Now he's gone back to Everton. He's killing it again. Okay, so maybe some players are just not made for a certain level, or maybe not made for a certain league. Martinelli, I mean, one of our best memories of him last season was him scoring against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. You look at how did that goal come? Well, they left a vast amount of space in behind because they were attacking, they were chasing the game, and that was useful. So I'm trying to think, at what point is it useful to have Gabriel Martinelli in your team? Okay, it's certainly not when you're starting a game, because we've seen that actually teams are sitting back, right? They're defending quite compact, and he can't beat his man. Okay, so then do you bring him on as a sub? Then under what game state you bring him on at? Okay, it's certainly not if you're chasing a game or if you're drawing a game, because if you're coming on maybe 70, 80th minute, the opposition is going to be far more compact to try and hold on to a lead or hold on to a draw. So the only time he's really useful is actually if we're already winning a game, then you can bring him on because teams are going to come chasing the game. You leave spaces behind. Is that really a useful trait to have in your team? Probably not. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I feel that if we're going to let go of a winger, I would rather we let go of Martinelli than Trossard, because you're looking at stats, you're looking at how many open play goals he scored. Well, we should do that with Trossard as well. Yeah, he might not have age on his side, but we're a team right now who needs players here and now, who will do it now, not who will do it in 2-3 years' time. And Trossard is someone who, whether you like him or not, he's doing it for us. He does it for us in the Champions League. He does it for us in the league. I would, my position on Martinelli has kind of been clear, and it's been Anfield was a moment for many people. It was a moment of realization for many people that actually, you know what, I think we've both run our course here.
there's a lot of people in the chat talking about, I'm sort of backing you up, Wally, about like his dribbling's just not there. And I've just brought up those stats on screen. You can see again the red dots much nearer the sort of center and actually in the lower quartiles. I mean, look, dribbles attempted, dribbles completed. That is nowhere near where it needs to be. Turnover efficiency and turnovers again so low. Progressive carries high, so he could run into space and carry the ball and move it closer to the goal. But dribbling, he hates it. And I have sympathy because for a long time we were talking about different left backs and Xhaka left and we tried Havertz and then Rice and Gabby Jesus, as I think Wayne said earlier, in and out of the team. He's just not had that sort of stability, whereas on the right-hand side we've had White, Ødegaard and Saka for long parts, and of course last year it was Timber, Ødegaard and Saks. And I just feel that there is that, and I also feel that he just hugs the touchline. He's not that sort of a player. And like, I think Theo Walcott was interviewed yesterday or the day before, and he was just saying, like, every time the ball goes to Martinelli's feet, it's like he's trying to think too much. Like he's not playing using his instinct. He's not running into space onto the ball. Clive Palmer talks about how Martinelli makes those out to in runs, and that's where we know that he thrives and he's at his best. So, yeah, the question to you is, as someone who, like me, thinks there is a player in him, does Mikel Arteta need to take some responsibility in terms of tweaking the system to get the best out of the tools that he's got? Because Martinelli is clearly not a touchline hugger. He is clearly not a dribbler. He doesn't feel comfortable crossing on his left or right. He looks void of confidence when he's running up against a fullback, and that could be a defensive midfielder tucking in like we saw Dominic Szoboszlai. But when you play him maybe off the shoulder or play him into space or sit deeper and play him, in transition, then you're going to get a much better player. And maybe to Wally's point, maybe this guy's best position and best use for us is off the bench in games where we're leading. You run the opposition down with Eze or Madueke or somebody else, get a goal up, 2 goals up, and then you bring on Gabby Martinelli to exploit the sort of the gaps and using his speed. Yeah.
Yeah, there is an argument that Arteta has kind of taken away Martinelli's best weapons. I feel he's more of an inside forward than a winger. He's definitely not a touchline winger. We can see that. But this is what Arteta has designed for the last 2 years. I mean, it's been 2 years since this kind of change. Obviously, we talked about the season where he scored 15 goals. For whatever reason, Arteta wants his left winger to hug the touchline, which Martinelli can't do. I've not.
But how do we know that, Ian? Because I mean, we don't see Trossard doing that, for example. And Eze came on against Liverpool. He didn't do that, right? He went out. He came in, right? How do you know that this is Arteta telling him to be on the outside? I just don't see any tangible evidence that's what. I just think that's what Martinelli's game is, because he feels that he's got the pace to try and go around defenders. Okay, but the moment he comes in, there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more decisions to make, which he can't do.
Maybe, but again, Arteta should be the one as the coach saying, "Don't do this. Can you don't go to the byline and try and dribble past because you can't do it." If the fans can see it, then Arteta and the management can see it. But he's continuing to do it.
I think that's really fair from Yem, because whether Martinelli's instructed or not, he's on the touchline, Wally, and we know he can't beat a player for custard, right? So Arteta needs to spot that and be like, mate, like tweak the system, make him play a little bit narrower, make him play,
direct him to
run. Exactly.
There was many incidents in that game, both against Man United and against Liverpool as well, where he was in positions where he wasn't hugging the touchline, right? He's more kind of on the halfway line, but he had opportunities to make a pass, right? Okay, that could have got Gyökeres away. He didn't do it because he's not looking up. Now the thing is, if you're Every manager will tell you that the least danger on the pitch is when you're on the touchline, right? Okay, but the moment you're more towards the central, if you lose the ball, right? Okay, you're going to be up against it. That's the danger area is, right? Now, if you've got a player that's not looking up, okay, that doesn't know about his surroundings and who's there for him, who's there to help him, and he's just got his head down and he's just running in a straight line. If he loses the ball in those areas, there's far more danger than him losing the ball out wide. So maybe it is that, yeah, it could be an instruction, right? But it's because of his limitations, the fact that he's not looking up. He doesn't know his surroundings, and he's a limited player. And maybe it's time for us to accept that he is a limited player.
No, look, I think we can all accept that Martinelli has got, limitations in his game. We can see that. Injuries as well have curtailed, kind of like the Saka talk. When Martinelli got injured a couple of years ago, you could tell he was a different player when he came back. Remember, he had that phenomenal burst of pace, literally tore players apart. He's not that player anymore. And I agree with you, Walid. That chance that he had for that he should have put Gyökeres through, but he's like looking at the floor. It's a big exclamation mark. But the main question that Faisal was asking was, is there a player in there that we can use? Yes, I do believe there is. But to your point, he's got issues. And the question is, has he improved on those? Not really. But that's also with Arteta as well, to say, look, if you're coming in centrally, lift your head. It's blatantly obvious. We can all see it. Every game he does this. He's head down. I'm just looking at the floor. Arteta, lift your head up. Lift your head up. He's done it with Sane, with Saka. It's not the first winger he's worked with. So, excuse me. Arteta, there is some culpability on Arteta to say, look, I've failed Martinelli in this respect. But as well, yeah, Martinelli's got issues in terms of what he is. One thing there's not any doubt about is his shots. When he gets into the position, he's actually got a very good selection of shots, and he's very good at that. It's just that he can never get to that area because, A, we're not playing this kind of give and go system, which I think would work better for him, where, Gyökeres or someone like that could, play the give and go and let him get in. But as well as that, we do play against low blocks, and he's got it's on Arteta as well to realise if you're playing against a low block, he's not going to do it. He's not the player to break that. It's an Eze, it's a Trossard. Look, I'm not Trossard's biggest fan, but I appreciate his creative ability. He can get through a low block better than Martinelli can. Martinelli's not for that. He's for the transition. I think that's, again, with Arteta to realise. I get the feeling Arteta just keeps him in the squad because of that tracking back element, because he loves it. He loves that he works so hard and he's always there defending, because that's not in doubt. When he gets up the field, that's the biggest problem. That left-hand side has been a problem for a number of years.
I would say invest in stocks while they're low with Gabby Martinelli. But remember, you can lose your money in the stock market. That's all I'll say. Any closing thoughts?
That's such a cop-out.
For me, Martin, there's a reason why Arteta plays him. Arteta trusts him. Arteta likes him. I think he likes his work off the ball. I think maybe he's waiting for a goal or two to just get that confidence again through the roof. I don't know. I think he's going to keep playing him, mate. And I think Martin.
Do you think he starts Nottingham Forest even after Eze's performance?
Yeah, I think he'll start Martinelli.
I think that's a bad. Look, I like Martinelli.
I feel sad in saying this, but it just reminded me of Arsene Wenger's love for Almunia. It just, everyone could see, and everyone was like,
not that bad.
Let it go.
Bro, Almunia, I mean, that heart wasn't even beating, and we were just like, bro.
We still persisted every season.
He's not a bad player. Come on. Eze will start, Vlad, but I think Eze will start in a different position. I can't see him starting left wing against Forest. It's his off the ball works, his Country Bud Mon. Don't know. That's a great name. I just don't know what it means. I think we're going to leave it there. It's been a long show tonight. It's always hard to do shows during international breaks. We've tried our best. I think we've succeeded. I think we've had hundreds of people watching on a Friday night, which is lovely. Please do drop a like in the video before you go. It's completely free to do. Forder is in the chat. Forder on Footy. Check out his YouTube channel. Check out his socials. He is the guy behind the thumbnail that we've used today. And of course, these fine chaps on their socials as well. Wayne can be found at Wayne's World 20_, co-host of the Can You Believe It podcast. What's the latest on the pod, Wayne? What's going on?
Well, biggest question, which I'll leave with you guys and I'll leave with the chat before we head off. Obviously, our transfer window is closed. The international breaks are on. Saudi is open. Turkey is open. Trossard talks of 22 million or whatever. Would you?
Mate, in a heart, I'd fly there myself with him in a heartbeat. I think he offers nothing when he's not scoring. Nothing.
But Martinelli's the one that you want to keep forever.
Yeah, no, I'd take it and I'd send them Martinelli instead. But no, I just have questionable business tactics.
Interesting. Fair dues. England obviously in action tomorrow against Andorra, as are the ladies, says O'Malley. Wayne, any closing thoughts on the ladies? Record season ticket sales?
Yeah, some really big news coming out of the women's club that some Arsenal season ticket holders took out like a bundle to go to watch women's games. I think it was like Tim Stillman said 17,000, which is massive. It's bigger than Bournemouth Stadium. So we just got a gantry and like the firm.
Well, there we go. It was a very good show. Adrian, come on. No. Yembele can be found at Verge59, host of the Red Lines and Half Spaces podcast. What's been happening on that, Yem? Who's your latest guest you've got?
So we had Dan George on recently when we were previewing Liverpool. We've done a post-Liverpool review, just like Wayne and Met did. We're going to be recording, hopefully, if my voice gets better, our transfer roundup show on Monday, if we can. So do check it out when it drops. But yeah, thanks to everyone who's been listening. It's really appreciated.
Cool, man. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed them. You and Joe have got a very nice chemistry going. And at One Wally One, too busy with home games, away games, and road trips to do any sort of podcast. It's been great to have you on tonight's show.
Oh, what home games? He's not turned up to any home games yet.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? We got to call you out for that fraud, Mister. I'm playing
with Cuthbert. I had to play
Bigfoot and Phoenix or whatever their names are.
No, at the moment, just aways for me. I'm enjoying the away games at the moment. So yeah,
apart from
Bilbao
Newcastle.
next.
Don't want to go to Newcastle.
Yeah, well,
Let's go Newcastle, mate.
Let's go Newcastle and Bilbao.
Like a groove. If anybody wants to follow Wally, he's available at One Walled One. Let's leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We'll be back over the weekend with something. We'll figure it all out. Enjoy yourselves. Sleep well. It's Friday night, of course, and enjoy the weekend. Until next time, bye for now.